Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Queen Jack of Hearts. In this hand, we are in the big blind and we have an under the gun poster. Um, he checks, um, small blind calls, and it's on me, and I just check. So here we have this player's playing 29%. I just gave him basically all the cards, and then I subtracted out maybe 5% to say I expect most players to raise this range, so that's out of his range. This next player is playing 26%. When we look at pre-flop small blind, um, he limps with previous lumpers about 35%. He raises about 9%. So I went ahead and said, let's give him a limping range like this, minus about 5% or so of hands that I expect him to raise. And then for me, we do have an ISO raise. That queen jack should be in it, but I didn't. I just um, did the optional ISO. Um, so let's fix that king jack, and then I think ace 10. Oops, here it is. Yeah, we'll go 5-4. It's all of these, and say that I would have just, instead of isolating with all those, I would have just called. So again, I've got a massive range, probably the biggest range compared to the two, because I think this guy probably would have raised a little bit more. This guy here. So we see a flop. I flop two pair, which is actually pretty darn good. In a limped pot, we've got a player that's 38.5, a player that has over 200 big blinds. So effective stack just kind of depends on the player. We do have a big hand. If we bet, and I do think we probably should be betting this since it was just all linked. I think we should attack. I think we're going sets. I think we go two pair. I think we do top pair. Maybe not all top pair. We're out of position, and that's going to be hard. So maybe the weaker top pair. If we get folds, we get folds. That's okay. I think we could do like queen, king, queen, queen 10. We could probably check those. Queen 9's kind of on the cusp of hands. I think bottom pair is probably a check call. I think we're betting our open ender. I think we would bet a gut shot. And then I think you've got some backdoor, 2-card backdoor flush draws. Obviously, this will be like huge. This will add a big one. I think maybe it would be better just to kind of add some of these bottom pairs. So pocket pair below the boards, and then maybe some of the bottom pairs, and not even all of them. I think with the bottom pairs, we're just going for maybe like 8-6 or king 6. Maybe all hands like that, because these all block some of the street potentials. So maybe something like that is what we should bet. So we did. So villain 1 checked. I'm going to say he has his entire range there. We did bet. We bet 2.6, which I think is okay. And then we get one call. So this guy folds. And then the question is, what does this guy call with? I'm going to exclude a set, and I'm going to exclude 2 pair. I kind of think those would have probably just gone ahead and raised. Actually, I'm gonna scale them and say 50%. I'd say 50% of the time he would have raised. Other time, they would have just called here. He posted, so I'm gonna give him basically all of these pairs. see what well, just 7 hands. That's all we have. We'll give him all pocket pairs. We'll give him gut shots, and then what we'll do is give him like overcards, which he doesn't really have overcards. So I guess that's 44%. So we'll go with that. 2 diamonds. We bet once. I do think we continue here. I think we continue our set in 2 pair. I think top pair we probably check here. I think our flush draw we improved, so we go for the flush draw. I think we continue with the open ender straight, and that's probably our betting range here. I think gut shot's going to be a check. I think it's going to be a check with our top pair. Probably check call with top pair gut shots, and so forth. Maybe not even all gut shots. Definitely our better gut shots. So I did bet, which is good. I bet half pot, so I sized down a little bit. I think that's probably okay. I mean, at this point, you have to think, what does villain have? We do have the top 2, and he calls. So we bet, and then villain calls, and at this point, I have to. We're gonna give him the gut shot. We're gonna say he's calling gut shots. He's calling top pair plus. I can't believe he would call with the middle pair, but maybe. I mean, it's 21% of hands would be a middle pair. I don't think so. I think top pair plus flush draw, and I think at this point, I think sets would have raised. Maybe not 2 pairs, so we can even say 50% 2 pair. All right. So river's the ace of diamonds. I don't think. I mean, the diamonds isn't that great, but if he was drawn to a straight, if he had a king 10, he connected. If he had something like a 10 jack or ace king, he just improved. Not 10 jack. If he had a 10-9, he did not improve. He's just going to fold. I think the queen could be scared. I think if we bet what hands call us, I think hands that call us will probably be hands that beat us. If I check 2, I think he's going to bet 2. I don't have enough hands. I don't have enough hands to tell. So I think we bet our flush. We hope to get called, especially with our king high flush. I think our straight. I don't think we bet our straight all the way. I don't think we do all of our 10-9s. I mean, if we bet the flush and the straight, then we could bet all of our 10-9s, and I think that's an even distribution. But like sets and 2 pair, I think it's just going to be check, and it's probably going to be a check call there. So I bet half pot. He raised, and that's not good. And I think I probably would have lost this amount if I check. He bets. I'm going to call anyways, so I probably lose this 8 big blinds or so. But when he raises, at that point, it kind of suggests to me that he's only raising with a flush or a straight, and even the straight, we can just kind of scale it back to 50%, because once that flush got there, I don't think a whole lot of people will be betting the straight. I think they're going to be afraid. So at this point, they've got, I think they are representing the flush. It would be a tight fold, but I do think our best bet's probably to fold. The other thing that he could have had possibly is like a hand like ace 6 or ace jack or ace queen and improve to a better 2 pair. That is entirely possible, but based on all of the hand, when someone comes in, when they just call, and then all of a sudden raise on the river, I think they usually have a very, very good hand. Our 2 pairs, pretty good hand ourselves, but I think based on hands that improved, I can think of straights, I can think of diamonds, I can think of any of the ace-x hands that now improved to 2 pair. So you might hate to fold it, but I do think folding it against a relative unknown is probably the play. I called, so he shows king 10, he has a straight, and I'm not surprised by that. So I actually like how I played this hand up until that river. I think our river's probably going to be a check call. We check, he bets, we probably call because that check allows him to bluff us or attempt to bluff us anyways. And I do think that's what we should be doing. What I didn't like is leading here, facing a raise, and then calling because I think I cost myself even more. So let's take a note. All right, so he is IP versus both blinds. He called 66%, called 50%, and then he did a half pot, and then he bet essentially min raised. Min raised 50% bet. He had queen of diamonds, jack of clubs, six of spades, two of diamonds, ace of diamonds. All right. Took the notes. So yeah. I know it's tough to fold two pair. I think trips. I think it was Doug Polk who said never fold trips. I think that's probably pretty good, except when you're playing at these lower limits. Um, if you're playing against a good player, like who I think is a thinking player, and can make various plays, then yeah, you don't fold those. But against a lot of the players that I've been playing, against a player that raises on the river, he's representing that he has a big hand. And at a minimum, it's going to be the ace two pair with ace X. I think that would be the minimum. And even then, I don't even think they would raise that when a flush gets there. No, not just a flush, but a flush and an open ender could get there. So he's telling me exactly what he has. I should have folded. I didn't, so I cost myself money. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. Hopefully you learn something. And remember, I've done this a lot. I've made these calls a lot. And every single time, it's like I knew that. So I'm really now starting to trust my reads and folding these in these situations. And I think I am saving myself money. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another.